devil is a liar.
The country 6 years ago.
God himself walked in this place. You know,
She's just a visitor with a prayer request.
I really wanted to go and maybe the pastor pray for me so I can get a job. I'm so depressed.
The 27-year-old has been in trouble with her landlord for missing her rental payment.
The member of the church came to me and say, "You want money, right?" And I say, "Yes, I want money. Because right now things are not fine."
This is for my conscience, and this is for the people of God to know the truth. That is why I'm not coming here tonight to say, no, this is what they did. No, we were together. We're doing it together. You know?
Service. And she believed God for a healing, man of God.
When Ravesai honors the invitation, it turns out to be a Sunday of testimonies.
For 3 years, she was HIV positive.
For 3 years.
3 years, man of God.
Tell me what happened.
They gave me a paper that was 2 of them. The first one was written, I was positive because they already knew my name and my surname. So they went, I don't know where, to the doctor and say I was HIV positive. And the other ones was saying I'm now negative.
3 years is torment.
Ravesai does not get to speak for herself though.
She was tormented, Pastor Alf, by that disease. On Monday, she went for a test. And she saw the test was negative. But just something said, let me check again on Thursday.
Come on now.
And Pastor, when she went back on Thursday, she got the exact result, HIV negative.
God is fighting for it. We bless your
But it doesn't take long before Alf Lukau's sermon is interrupted.
Man of God,
Speak to me.
Pastor Alf, I went outside. There is a family that is about to take a corpse to Zimbabwe. Hey!
The man has allegedly been dead for 3 days.
He died in my hand. And this is your brother?
Yeah, this is my brother.
Jesus.
Jesus. Yeah.
Jesus. So where did you keep the body?
The body was on the mortuary.
Jesus. This body is coming from the mortuary?
Yes.
This man died since Friday. Hey!
On close inspection, there are visible signs of life.
Where is the media now?
And what happens next has left tongues wagging.
Elliot.
Jesus.
Lift your hands. Lift your hands. Irakalamasa.
My good God.
Barabasata basa.
To the congregants, an unprecedented scene is unfolding before their eyes.
Jesus. What is this? Never seen before. Never seen before.
The more I get deeper and deeper into these things, I realize that the world needs to be very, very much alert. It breaks my heart when I think about it, and for everything that I have personally done, it's not something that I'm proud of.
Yes, I was there.
Okay.
I was part of the people
covering
consoling
the
the
body
lady. With this hospitality things, yes, those
Okay.
rappers, like we had to hide and make sure like people don't notice. People were passing through that door. We have to make this lady like at least she needs to calm down, not to throw attention to other members or any other people. And then I rushed up to the second floor. I told Jackie, "Do you know that someone is dead in the auditorium?" And then she was like, "Who told you this?" I said, "I saw her. No one should know this. Go down, go there, go look for Pastor Penn." I go look for Penn, and then he came. He was panicking all over, calling that doctor, one who was driving his Mercedes. And then I'm asking him, "But doctor, what if police catches?" He was like, "No, have faith. There's no police." He was driving in a high speed. The lady at
So
the
now
back is holding.
you knew that this lady was dead, and even the
Yes.
doctor knew that the lady was dead, but you still had to
Yes.
drive the lady
Yeah.
to the hospital. Okay. After she
Yeah,
was
it was
covered in
order
church
from
and she
above
was
that
left in
get
church
the
for a long
body
time.
out of the. There was a call from above, from the big office saying that get that body out of the compound, out of the church compound at all means. Within minutes, get that body from that that place. There was tension. The third floor, there was tension in the second floor. There was tension in hospitality. People were panicking all over. And then now me, doctor, the dead body and the lady, the mother is dead. Like she's also holding the mother who is dead, like a person who is sitting like a passenger. I'm looking at her, I'm looking at the doctor, I'm like, "Doctor, we're in trouble. If
So who
police
else
catch us,
was with
we're
you? You
going
said
down."
there was the doctor, and who else?
Doctor, me, the mother, the lady who is the mother died.
Okay.
Those
Do you remember
we were only-
the name of the lady whose mother died?
Honestly, I don't remember. It has been a long time.
Okay. Okay.
But if Edenfell Hospital, I'm gonna go back and trace the date. I will tell you the date. They need to trace that. The person who is conducting that is that lady who sits next to Jackie. Her name is Mamika. They call her Sister Mamika.
Mamiki.
Mamika or Mamiki, yeah. The one who sits next to Jackie, the nurse at
Okay.
Edenfell Hospital.
Okay.
When we reached there, the doctor didn't want to go through because the nurse had not arrived there. She was not on duty that day. So
Okay.
they had to call her to run. And then to my surprise, she came rushing with a stretcher. "Oh, mommy, don't worry. I'm looking at it like, is this lady normal? This person is dead." Like, the person died like 2 hours ago. She took the body inside, talking to the dead body. The lady who the mother died, she's confused. I don't know if they paid her to keep quiet. I don't know. But whatever she did, the brothers and the sisters need to know that the mother died at AMI in Kramafer, number 8 Charles Crescent. That is where the body died. That's where the mother died, not at Edenfell Hospital. Yeah.
So if I'm to understand you well, for the sake of the understanding of everyone who's watching, you are saying this lady died in church.
Yes.
And she was kept in church, and they told you guys to say, make sure that nobody sees that the lady is dead.
Yes.
And you kept her during the service. You kept her inside the church, and the lady was alive. The lady was dead. You covered her as the hospitality team. That's what you are saying.
Exactly. If the ladies in hospitality, they are honest enough, they can stand and say this is the truth. I can name
Which
them
other
one by
ladies
one,
from
but
the hospitality
I don't
team
want to put
were
them in trouble.
which other
I
ladies
don't
from
want
the
to
hospitality team were there?
I don't want to put them in trouble, but they know them.
The mission house is a place where, my understanding, it was only girls that stayed there.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
I'm not talking.
Young girls,
Well, I was
teenagers.
17 at the
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So it was 17 different age groups, but I'm not talking a fairy tale. I lived there.
Okay.
I lived in the mission house.
How long was that? How long did you stay there?
Jesus. I was there at the mission house for like 3 to 4 years, if I may recall.
Okay.
And I lived in the mission house. Then I had to leave my home and go stay at the mission house.
So why did you're 17-year-old, your parents allowed you to go there? Why?
Look, I look back at it now and I think at that moment it's it was the right thing to do because the man of God is saying you've got a calling. He prophesied I should get married at the age of 27 and I need to stay at the mission house for spiritual grooming, to stay away from demonic influences outside. I am the special child that must stay within the mission house. And I remember this so well. I stayed there, and my friend that we did choir with, that is still at the church, we both moved into the mission house. But we then stayed at the mission house.
So when you moved, there were other girls there, or you were the first girls?
We were the first young girls.
And you eat together, you had your room?
At that time, everything seemed okay.
Okay.
Number one, phones were confiscated. I remember I was one of the youngest girls that had a cell phone. Phones were confiscated. If you wanted to have communication with family, you needed to write a letter. Whether you wanted communication, if your family needed to bring you stuff, whatever you needed to do out of church, you need to write a letter which would be given to the prophet, and the prophet must approve it before it can be done. When we entered the mission house, the first thing we were told, we needed to go to Hillbrow Clinic. There was a clinic in Hillbrow. Okay. Each and every girl who gets there, we go for an HIV test.
Why?
We were told that the HIV tests were done because if you're HIV positive, the prophet will pray for you to be healed. Okay. And if you're HIV negative, oh well, glory to God. Okay. So you'd sometimes be bathing and the door would just whoop open and men of God would walk in and say what he wants to say and walk out. And we'd be shocked for days. But then it became a way of life. Things that I started seeing, there was one particular girl. Okay. We were very close at the mission house, and she stayed at the mission house, and she was very close to the prophet. So I was always told, this one talks too much, stay away from her. But on some God-given day, the girl decided to jump off the roof of the mission house.
Okay, suicide?
Yes, she wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And she left a note. Suicide note. So we stayed at the mission house, and I was there at the mission house. And the suicide note, the girl committed suicide because there was a new girl that came into the mission house. And prophet was no longer giving her attention, and this one decided to jump off the roof and try to commit suicide. And unfortunately or fortunately, the letter of suicide, I saw it. Okay.
Give us the details.
Yeah. So the details of the letter was, the girl was feeling left out. There's a new girl in the mission house. She's no longer getting the attention that she's supposed to get from the prophet. And she wants to end her life because she, in the letter, wrote that she was a virgin when she came into the church and she gave her virginity off to Phillip Banda. Okay. I saw something, but I was convinced the devil made me see what was not supposed to be seen. Okay. Do you understand? Okay. So it was just washed out like that.
What other things do you see?
Right.
Did you see, rather?
So people who were HIV positive.
And what did you also do?
What did I do? My God.
That you know that is wrong.
Look, I was sleeping with people in the church. Now,
pastors?
No, because initially the prophet phoned me. I remember this so well. He phoned me and I was visiting my home at that time, and he said to me, Sikle. And I'm like, yes. And he says, there's this guy who likes you and you guys should get married. And at that time, I think I was 18. I was in my first year.
So that's like a pimping organization.
Yes. So the prophet basically Banda
pimped you at home. I was at home.
And organized you with another man.
And he said, this guy likes you and he wants to marry you and I think you guys should get married. And it was a known secret. I was dating this guy. This guy is a pastor now. He has his own church. Okay. And I was dating this guy within the church and everybody knew. I was 18 at that time that we were dating. And you would see people fornicate within the mission house, but it was... I saw, but I didn't see. I had a friend, my close friend, who's had like several abortions in the church. We would literally be sleeping with the same guys within the church. And the guys we sleep with are then promoted to being pastors. So for me, it's just like...
And you also had abortions in the mission house, did you?
No,
once you were at the church.
No, once you were at the church. Right at the mission house. So I'll get to that. Okay. He was married with his wife, but this man was then... impregnated someone else within the church, and that was normal. There was a woman who married and divorced within the church.
So marriages were very unhealthy. You know, there's a lot of adultery, there's a lot of divorce.
I think for me, when he laid hands on people, was inflicting the spirit of lust. Okay. If there's such a thing. Because all of us became rabbits. The entire praise and worship team, we were just rabbiting each other. You understand? Like,
there's one of your friends that I know, and I've met her quite some time. She's married to one of the sons of the prophet.
Okay, so she said I can say her name.
Yes, okay.
She said to me, say my name. Her name is Portia.
Yeah.
So Portia was raped by Phillip
Prophet
Banda.
Phillip Banda.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. You see, this is not something that we can just mention and pass as if we didn't say.
Yeah.
Let's
So
Portia,
Yes.
Portia was raped
Yes.
by Phillip Banda.
Banda. Yes.
she is his spiritual daughter.
Yes. So Portia was married to one of his spiritual sons that he came with. To
So
South
she was
Africa from
raped
Zambia.
while she was married.
Yes.
In her house.
Jesus.
Yes.
On her marital bed.
On her marital bed.
And she got pregnant.
And she got pregnant from Phillip Banda. So now this Portia, yesterday, as I say to you, yesterday, about Portia's house was filled with us people who were at Impact for Christ, who are broken from the experience.
Solomon, an arrest must be made.
Arrest must be made.
This is a rapist.
Yeah, and he denied it.
No, he was arrested.
Okay.
He was arrested because Portia said to me, "Go ahead, say my name." She's been talking about it, but you know what happened? So he raped her. So yesterday she told us exactly the details of how she was raped.
Okay, take us through the
So
details.
she
of the rape.
says that. So remember, Portia's husband is Phillip Banda's spiritual son.
Yes.
Okay.
So at that time, she was even saying yesterday, he used to pay him 700 rand, and he was playing the guitar at the church. So during the time he's at church playing guitar, and he phones Portia and says, "Listen, your husband. I told your husband I'm going to pick you up. I'm taking you shopping." And long story cut short, he bought her some clothes. This is a prophet.
Yeah.
And they get to Portia's house, and she's like, "Thank you so much, you can go." And he's like, "No, I need to see how the gene fits you." And long story cut short, he raped her. But the
So in trying to see how the gene fits, that means she undressed.
She went to the
but
bedroom.
He left her.
Yeah.
She left him in the lounge.
Okay.
And she went
So
to
now,
the bedroom.
she was staying in the flat that Phillip Banda used to stay in with his wife before he moved to the
So they were very
cottage.
close.
They were very close.
Okay.
So the passage there, I know that flat, I've been there. So the passage is quite long. So he's in the lounge, she's further on, and he raped her. And then she says, yesterday I was like, "So what happened after that?" And she says, after that he said, "Let's pray." And he prayed. And now I asked her, I said, "So how do you know that your son is Phillip Banda?" She says, "Because after she married her
Okay,
husband."
she got pregnant.
Yes, she
from
got
that
pregnant.
rape.
She got pregnant from the rape. So my question...
The son is 17
Yeah,
now.
the son is 17 years old now. So my question was, how do you know the son is Phillip Banda? She says, but then at that moment, the husband was even there to agree to this. That when they got married, they decided they will condomize all the way through until they're ready to start a family. But she did go to Philip's wife to tell her, to say, "This is what happened to me," and the wife's response was, "Fine by me." But the long story cut short, Phillip Banda was arrested. There was a docket open for him at Hillbrow Police Station.
Okay.
He was arrested for rape, and I remember how the church was told, "Portia's evil, she's demonic, na 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 na."
So what happened to the docket?
It vanished, because at that time there were police people who were going to Impact for Christ who managed to buy the docket, and it vanished.
This calls for that docket
It
must
can
be
be
reopened. Yes.
reopened.
The docket must
Yes.
be reopened,
You
and
can reopen
this
that.
calls for a proper investigation.
Yeah.
And listen, this is not a joke. By the way,
Yeah.
this is not a joke. If people think we're just doing this
No.
for views, for fun, somebody's getting arrested for this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
on top of that, not only was he arrested, the court then summoned him to do a DNA test.
Good. That's the part.
And the results came back saying 99.9% Portia's
Was
son
positive.
is Phillip Banda's son.
That's it. So,
And ever since then, Phillip Banda then was arrested. He spent a weekend at Hillbrow Police Station.
Okay.
he started paying maintenance.
Yes, he
and
started
whatnot.
paying maintenance like 1,000 rand, 2,000 rand, small money. And then all of a sudden he stopped. So now Phillip Banda has kids that are living a lavish life, that are just living the works. But the most sad thing is, I've got voice notes from women who've written me emails that have kids with Phillip Banda, like everywhere, all over the place, that have kids with him.
I think I received a message from this woman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
She sent me even the picture of the son.
Yes.
And if you look at the picture of the son, they look alike. You can see that this is Phillip Banda's seed. You know?
Exactly the same. And one of the reasons why I'm hated, look, I'm expecting it. Look, you see, after this or during this, there's nothing under the face of the sun that's evil that they will not say about me. I'm expecting it because I hate Phillip Banda, because he must tell me what happened to our hair. There was once a camp he took us to, and our hair was shaved off. And no, yesterday we were discussing that with the crew. And these people from Impact are like, Sikle, do you remember when we went to one prayer and fasting camp? And they said we all the power of the demons in our hair, and they shaved all our hair off. What happened to our hair? Was it being used for funny things? Nobody knows. But my bone to pick with Phillip Banda is, that man, Phillip Banda, I hope he's watching. I really hope he's watching, because I've always said I need a one-on-one with him, because he knows that I know the idiotic and horrific things that he does. We went to Zambia with him. When we got to Zambia, he went to the gravesite saying he's reviving the spirit of the dead so that the church can grow. Now, listen here. I am not speaking hearsay. I am speaking things where I was there. I think I was the only young person that went with Phillip Banda for his first crusade in Zambia. I was 18 years old at that time, and I witnessed it with my 2 eyes. And at that crusade in Zambia, I was the Bible reader. So no one can dispute. Look, this is my truth. And I'm expecting it that people are going to come and say whatever and say Sikle is this, Sikle is a fraud, it's okay.
Yeah, normal.
But one bone that I need to pick with Banda is, then I left Banda's church. Okay, so I was kicked out of church, right? Because Sikle knew too much, right? So I was kicked out of church. I left the church, and then I got married. And then when I got married, my husband passed on in a horrific accident, and I just given birth to my son. So my mom says to me, because my mom is still at the church.
Okay.
And
she's still there.
my mom
now.
is still at the church. And this disclaimer is to say, I'm not doing this to discredit anybody, but nobody has given Sikle time to sit down and listen to my truth. Nobody, I cannot account for the 10 years of my life, what happened during me being passed on from one prophet to another. Nobody has ever given time to hear my truth. People have always said, Sikle is a liar, Sikle is a fraud, Sikle is this, Sikle is that. They've always created stories under the face of the sun that will paint me so bad so that people had no time to listen to me. So now then I left the church, and then when my son was born, my mom implored me to say I must go back to the church. Then I started going back to the church. Then when I was going back to the church, because I just lost a husband and I've got a small child with me, and I would sit in the mother's room. Then one girl, because then when I got there, I started hearing that this Phillip Banda has not stopped his nonsense. He's still sleeping with people. There's a friend of mine who came to me. She had an abortion, and he's surrounded by women. Those are his PAs and whatnots and everything. Even married PAs that have slept with Banda, you know. But the bottom line is, then one Holy Sunday, I didn't go to the first service, and this friend of mine, she says to me, she was telling me yesterday that Banda called her and paid her and said, I want you to go on stage. I don't want you to go on stage. I want you to manifest as if it's Sikle speaking through you about me.
Okay.
Because now,
so that is fake deliverance.
Yes. So this girl, during their second service, deliverance service, she starts manifesting in my name as if it's me speaking through her.
Yeah.
Yes. And she starts speaking, because apparently Banda promised her a car, whatever he promised her.
If she manifests.
Yeah. She starts speaking. Then I get a call from somebody saying, hey, you better rush to church. Your name is on speaker. So I drove from the house. I rushed into church. As I walked in, I remember this so well. My mom was on stage. I think my sister was there and a friend of mine. And then when I mounted, came up the steps, Banda closed the church. Church was finished, closed. So most people were chased out of the church because of association to me. So we left the church. We were chased out from the church. And my biggest pain is, there's nothing as painful as watching my biological mom having spiritual daughters, spiritual sons, embracing every other child that is there in the world, on TV, preaching the gospel, but she can't embrace me and my children because Phillip Banda told her that I am demonic. I've got some crazy demon, and my mom and my sisters and my family must stay the hell away from me. Do you know that when I want to go visit my mom, I need to make an appointment? Do you know that I cannot just rock up at my own mother's house with my children, because if I need to go visit my mother, I need to phone and say, hello, my children miss you, can we come? And she'll say, oh, Sissy, I'll get back to you. I'm so busy prophecy at church, I must consult with the prophet. So before I go home, my own mother must consult with Phillip Banda for me to go home. So this goes back to saying, my pain is deeper because I have no relationship with my own mother, because I have stuff that I've been through, the pain I went through under the hands of Phillip Banda in the church. As a result, I can't even have a healthy relationship with my own mother. If I want to go home, I have to make an appointment. If I want to see my mom, I have to make an appointment. Because my mom, if you go on their channel, if you go to Impact for Christ Ministries channel, she's always leading prayer. She's always leading prayer. Everyone says she's spiritual, she's a good woman. Yes, she's a good woman. But because of whatever Banda said to her about me, she cannot have a relationship with me. I don't know what it's like to have a relationship with the mother. My children don't know the love of my mom. As a result, my mom's elder sister had to step in and be the grandparent to my children. So if you think this is a vendetta, it is not. I am angry. I hate Phillip Banda. And this for me is just a wake-up call to anyone that might be going through this, because there are people whose wives are still in the church, but the men are not in the church. They kicked out. There are families who have been torn from Phillip Banda. There are families because there are children who have left the church, but the parents are still in the church. As a result, the parents are in the church, the kids are not in the church, so there's no relationship. So you look at me, and if you think I'm fabricating and I'm creating things, I am living it right now. If you go to Impact for Christ Ministries website, my mom's face is there. But me, I can't have a relationship with my mom because of Phillip Banda. I can't, because I always say, I lived through it. I saw these things. And when I saw him sleep with girls, when I saw him do the things he does to people, instead of anyone listening to me and embracing me and my pain, everyone was told to stay away from me because I was evil. Everyone was told to walk away from me because I'm evil. I carry the spirit of death. I'm demonic. Any name under the face of the sun. Imagine the pain. I keep quiet. This is the first time I'm really opening up about this. Imagine the pain of not being able to just rock up at home and visit. I have to make an appointment. Imagine that. But you see, I see my mom on Sundays, Wednesdays, anytime live on TV, praying for people. I see my mom holding the microphone, saying, "In the name of Jesus." I see my mom embracing other mothers' children and loving other mothers' children.
It's all right. It's all right.
Jay, why don't you take a break?
I joined this ministry at a young age. I was 13 years old.
I want to put it to you, ma'am, that your demeanor during that service is totally inconsistent with your version that you believed that he was going to rape you again.
It's not something that I made public to the church, so obviously my demeanor would not be the same. Obviously, knowing this man, I wouldn't say anything against him in that church, so that the same things could happen again. And I was not, I was separated. He separated me from the rest of the girls so I could be closer. And they had a nickname for the girls in that room, calling us the wives.
Everything was, I was told everything they told me, and then I paid the amount of money that I had to pay. And then after I paid the amount of money I paid, they told me that after every 6 months, you must come back to come and renew what we have given you. You must come back for renewal. You must come back if you want to increase and take it to the next level. If you now want to go and do other things, if you want money rituals, whatever, you just go higher and higher. The higher you go, the deeper you go in terms of protection, the deeper you go in terms of the initiation into the occultic and everything. So I left. So they said, as I'm going to be talking to this God, talking to it. I must make sure that on that day, as I'll be talking to the God, these were the conditions that I was given. Before I go to talk to that God, I must make sure that I've not touched a woman. I must make sure that I've not touched a woman as I'm going to sacrifice the chicken and sacrifice. So there are different conditions that are given. Some people, the deeper you go into the occultic, the more dangerous the conditions that are given to you. Some who are very deep into the occultic are given conditions that before you go to church, you must sleep with a virgin woman, or twice or three times every month you must sleep with a virgin girl. It is part of the rituals that are done. Some will say before you go to a service, you must sleep with a woman. Before you go to a service, and it is telling me accurate information about people. So it will tell me this one is so and so and so and so and so and so, and this is what happened to them, this is what happened here. That is why you see that there are secrets that at times, at some point, I'll tell people things that they know that they never told anybody. Things that they know that these are my secrets. Nobody knows about this.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
I think, firstly, I think it's fair for me to say what is it that you're apologizing for exactly? Because here you're saying everything,
Okay.
everything, whatever, and I mean, there's a lot that.
I wanted you to pour out your heart, because if I begin to speak about what I might be apologizing for, I want you to speak out your heart, and then after you speak out your heart, then line by line, whatever you're going to say, everything you're going to speak out, I'm going to apologize for it. I'm going to, whatever that is it you'll say, because I know personally I've said things about you. You know, I remember in East London, we created fake accounts together with my team. You know, things were said about you on Facebook. You know, we said stuff about some court cases, about things, you know, a lot of things that was on Facebook that were saying about you. And I admit, I'm not going to lie. I admit that, you know, all the fake accounts that you saw, they were created by myself and my team, you know, because we were so angry, and, you know, we wanted to really, retaliate over everything that we thought was a conflict, you see. So for everything that I said.
What is it that you were angry about? Looking back now, what is it that you were angry about? Because I've been watching you.
Yeah. But,
I think I've watched two of your live where you practically admitted to everything that I've exposed.
Yeah.
So when you look back, what is it exactly that you were angry about, that I said about you?
Okay.
That was a lie?
First and foremost, what made me very angry was the fact that I thought you and I, we were fine. I thought you and I were okay. And then in the process, you know, I saw your attacks on Facebook and things that you were saying against me, which some of them were true. I'll not deny that. And whatever that was true, in front of God and in front of everyone on this live broadcast, I'm going to admit to it. I'm going to admit to everything that was true, and whatever that, because I remember there were things that were actually inaccurate, you know, and there were things that were true. So whatever that was true that you might have posted in that time, you know, I'm going to admit to it, you know, in front of God and in front of everyone who's on this live broadcast, because I do not have anything in me that I want to remain, you know, hanging inside. So I think, you know, that's where I want to start from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Firstly, okay, let me ask you, you in terms of what you're saying with the Joburg, you termed it the Joburg Church,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So what you're saying with the Joburg Church, how does it make you feel? Because you're saying there were threats, there are attacks on you, there's everything. How does it make you feel?
The more they threaten me, the more they attack me, it really, I won't lie to you, it doesn't sit well with me. It makes me angry. And I'm actually in your position right now. The same position that you were with me in East London, is the same position that I am right now with the Joburg Church. Because everything that I'm saying now is almost everything that you also was saying about me in East London, you see. So, yeah. So, yeah.
And they're doing, and you're saying they're doing exactly the same thing that you've done to me then. 2 years ago.
Exactly. They are doing the exact same things that I've done to you. What I did to you in East London, attacking you, coming at you on social media and doing things is exactly what they are doing to me right now. I won't deny that.
All right. Okay. What is it that I lied about you?
Let me take it back. Let me try to remember. Firstly, I think there was an issue about drugs. And I'll be honest with you. There was an issue about drugs that I sent one guy to go for drugs in Joburg, and then he came back, and I think it was. I won't mention his name, because we wouldn't want to bring some stuff, that or someone who's not part of the conversation, but.
Rustenburg, that you also exposed on
Come
your
again,
page, right?
Come again.
So we're talking about the very same person that is from the Rustenburg Church in the Bima,
in the
that
red
was
Bima.
working for you, right?
Yes.
Okay. You also exposed from your page, right?
Okay. Here's what I wanted to say. The issue of drugs was actually inaccurate because Rustenburg, I was sending him to go and collect a car that he was supposed to bring to me, a red BMW, and there were no drugs in that car. I've never sold drugs in my life, and there is no need for me to deny whatever that I've done, but what I have really done, I'm going to admit it, with an open heart. But what I've not done, I'll just clear it. So that is one of the things, the issue of drugs, and I might not be able to remember everything, but yeah. Oops. I think we lost it. When you started exposing things that you were exposing, you also had your own, you had a place where you were coming from. So I want you to pour out your heart. I want you to pour out your heart. I want you to talk to me. I'm not saying I'm going to deny this, I'm going to deny that, but I just want you to pour out your heart so that, because the main mission for me to do this is for us to get to a place at the end of the broadcast or at the end of the day. It might not be today, it might be today, but I want us to get to a place where we can say, okay, you know what, it's fine, I forgive you. If you will find it in your heart, forgive me, and then we move on.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Look, I hear what you're saying, and like I said, I respect the journey that you've undertaken.
Thank you.
But you've taken this huge step in terms of. Am I here?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. No, I'm getting a notification.
Come again. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, you've explained yourself. I think I need to respect that part. You understand?
Okay. Sure.
And like I said earlier, when you send me the message to say, look, I respect your journey. It is your journey.
Yeah.
But for me, from where I'm coming, you understand? When I joined Spirit Life,
yeah.
There were issues that led me to leave. And one of the issues was that I whilst working for you, though you have not mentioned that. Whilst working for you as a PR manager, there were issues with regard to the contract, and I left. After the Daily Dispatch article, I left. And when I left, things were exposed, which didn't sit well with me. So I elected to leave.
Okay.
But when threats, which I shared with you, when threats were made to my life, and that is my then 13-year-old son, that didn't sit well with me.
Okay.
And if you recall, I shared those with you, and when I posted those as well, I went back and made those text messages public.
Okay.
There were 2 text messages that were followed by other messages as well. But when it came to threat to that of my son, you understand, I didn't take that kindly. And I understand you do not have kids, right? But the people that are working with you and the mamas and the sissies that dragged my son's name and the picture and everything by various fake Facebook pages, that hurt me.
Okay.
Because as a mother, that's where I draw the line. You understand? You can deal with me as a person who's exposing you on issues that you have already admitted to.
Okay.
Because none of the things that I say that were lies. You have admitted to being part of a cult. I have exposed that. I have even exposed the fact that you came to South Africa with 3 people. When I started the exposure, I even investigated the picture of the 3 people that you were with at the airport praying. And you've made acknowledgement of that. To say, so-and-so has brought you back, Tembo has brought you back, you came here to do this. That was the first picture when I started the crusade.
Yeah.
You understand? So the bottom line is, Jay, is nothing whatsoever that I have exposed you have not already acknowledged.
Okay.
But then for me, because when you come to the church and the people that are within you, that have gone all out in defense, and in their quest to defend you, they insulted me, my son, my family, threatened the life of my friends and everyone else.
Okay.
Because everyone else who commented on the post that I was making, then was also brought to the fore. You understand? The screenshots of comments and everything else. So it became a personal thing.
Okay.
You see, and when you look back now, with everything that you've already confessed to, you see, who is now vindicated? You understand?
I hear you.
My point is that, and I'm not speaking for myself alone here. I'm speaking for all the people that are your victims. You understand? The action, your action, and that of the people that are with you where you are now, led some of us to lose the belief system that we had in the body of Christ, in the building, church is a building. You understand? Anything that is raised about the church, because of how the members of Spirit Life, yourself included, because you are not excluded as well. You are posting statuses after statuses saying this started on Facebook, it's going to stand on Facebook, hearts are going to be broken. You even betrayed people's trust, that people that came to you in your office and confided in you on matters that were very personal to you. You betrayed the trust. You use that and blackmail people with those things. And for me, with what you were standing for at the time, you were a prophet. You didn't respect the office that you were in. You defiled it. You understand? And as a result, many of us that are your victims now have lost faith in the body of Christ, have lost faith in a building, in a church building, have lost faith in even coming to fellowship with other people, the men of God and everyone else, which I know for the fact that I don't want to go to church. I prefer a corner in my house to meditate and fellowship than to go to church and pray with people because of what spirit life and yourself have put into it.
Okay.
Do you understand? So this is where now I'm saying the damage that you and those that were clapping for you at the time, you have the damage that you've done is too much. You might not realize it now, but I'm telling you now, you have victims all over. People that you would want to be even closer to the church building. I'm one of those people. I tried to go back to church. I couldn't stay that long. Solely because that each and every person that goes and preach, I'm putting whatever that is saying. I am questioning the powers behind this person. If this person is doing this, is going the end. I'm very much critical. I'm very much questioning almost every other thing. You understand? So this is where now I am saying the damage is done, and apology, Jane, it's fine, it sets you free. But what about the casualties? The people that were scammed, that I was trying to, because for me, in as much as I was doing it for myself, you understand, you also brought things about my life that I don't think about. But when you brought that, the life of my son and everything else, and even my ex-husband, my baby, you brought him to the phone. You created a fake screenshot as if I'm chatting to Solomon's about my ex-husband, which is not true, Jay. You understand? So you've gone all out. You even went to Delete Dispatch and said to Delete Dispatch, I made sexual advances to you and you rejected me, and I took the rejection so bad. Hence, I no, that is not true. You see? So this is where I'm saying you can say the apology. Oh yes, I apologize. Because for you, it took you 2 years for you to reach the space that you are in. You understand? For me as well, I can see people making comments to say, hey, I need to forgive you, I need to do this and this. It's not that easy because the damage that you have done is so much. When you bring the life of a 13-year-old who is now 15 years old in a fight between me and you, you're making the right person. Because I can tell you now, Jay, there is nothing what I've done you've confirmed. Most of the things, if not 90% of the things, it's 95% of the things that I've said about you that you've confirmed. And I'm not gonna go line by line in terms of those things. You know it.
Yeah.
You see. So this is where now I am saying as Tabisa and representing all the people that are done, the humiliation, the insult, and everything that you and your people subjected me to just because I stood for the truth, because we knew that we were buying people. And you knew that for a fact that Daily Dispatch gave me the information. I even know that some of the people were coming back all the way from Hammersbach. Other people were even lost in your own space, in everything else. You see? But then you go now and do all these things, and your people were clapping for you, contaminating the body of Christ, Jay. Because you stood there, because we might not have known the powers behind you. We might not have known that there was an occult that was going on. You would fellowship, and the world would move. You would preach, and people would go down on their knees and pray. You understand? So we believed and hung on to the word that you were a true man of God. But when I exposed you, for me, one of the things that one of my friends said, he said, "You've come down from your pulpit. You defiled your pulpit and you came down to my level."